Afternoon, at least afternoon for me. So I'm here on day T-6. So the way that the days are counted now are in relation to my transplant day. So I got into the hospital yesterday, T-7, and went straight into chemo. So we got here at 8 a.m. and pretty much straight into the first round of chemo. So I'm going to have 6 days of chemo. Yesterday was the B medicine and beam, and that's the only time I'll get that. And then today, tomorrow, and then the next 2 days. So for a total of 4 days, I get 2 drugs, the E and the A. And then on the final day, day 6 of chemo, I'll get the M. It's a lot right now. Yesterday's infusion was not too bad. It was 4 hours of fluids and then about 2.5 hours of the infusion. And then that's when I was informed that I will be getting constant fluids through the whole thing. So I have my hookup here, and I will not be unhooked for this whole process. Maybe after the chemo and the transplant, when I'm in kind of the recovery, maybe I'll get unhooked, but who knows? So yeah, been feeling pretty good so far. This current version, the E and the A that I'll be doing today and then for the next 3 days, is pretty intense though. It's 6 hours of chemo every 12 hours, so it's literally half of my day is hooked up getting chemo infusions, and I'm starting to have some nausea and maybe a little bit of scratchiness in my throat, which is a little scary for me because mucositis, or basically sores in your throat, is kind of the primary thing that is terrible. To the point of not being able to eat and not being able to talk and everything. So hopefully it won't get that bad, but already I have a little bit of scratchiness in my throat, which we'll see. We'll be tracking it carefully. But yeah, that's kind of the gist. So then the M is given on T-2, and it's a very quick infusion apparently. But really, really powerful stuff. And then T-1 is actually a rest day. So they want 48 hours of flushing, essentially, just like tons and tons of liquids, in order to get as much of the chemo medicine out of my body before they do the stem cell transplant. And that's why I'm on fluids this whole time. Like, I am going to the bathroom so much. They're measuring all of the volume of my urine, and it is legion. I guess that's what happens when you're constantly getting IV fluids for a week. So then we'll be on to T0, which will be when I get my infusion. Not infusion. Infusion is what I'm doing right now. When I get my transplant, my transfusion of my own cells. I don't know exactly what you call it, but the transplant of my stem cells will happen on T0. In an interesting quirk of my particular body, I'm going to get a really high dose of stem cells. And that's just because my body produced so many stem cells, and the apheresis machine was so efficient at separating stem cells that it's basically pure stem cells, which is kind of unusual, and way more than normal. So the average person gets somewhere around 3 to 5 million stem cells transfused into them, and that's 5 is good, right? The doctors feel really comfortable about 5. And I will be getting 24 million, so almost 5 times as many. which is kind of crazy. 24 million stem cells. and that is half of one bag, and they have 2 bags, so 1 bag will just remain in storage if I ever need it. But once they take the bag out and freeze it, they can't refreeze it. So they're going to start with 1 bag, half a bag, because 1 bag would be 50 million and way higher than is good. So that's interesting. It means that it's possible that I might engraft sooner than normal, simply because I'll just have so many stem cells. But there's no, it more or not, like, we really don't know. And most patients, at least at Fred Hutch, get a couple days worth of growth factor shots again post transplant, in order just to kind of speed up that engraftment day by 1 or 2 days, maybe 3 if you're lucky. And we're gonna skip that for me, because I'm already at 5 times the normal dose. So getting those to grow and produce, getting my cells to grow and produce even faster is probably not good. But the interesting thing is, what the doctors really care about in terms of overloading your system is what they call nucleated cells. So any cell they're infusing into your body that has an active nucleus, they have to count and consider how you'll react to it. And because the apheresis machine was so efficient at pulling out all my stem cells, I'm actually way under the nucleated limit, because my stem cells were so dense. So I don't exactly know what any of that means. It just means that it's, it's going to be interesting. The doctors seem to think that this is mostly all positive, and who knows, who knows. So yeah, I'll give you a quick little run around of my hospital room. All right, so here's my window. I've got a pretty nice view of the lake and Bellevue. And then my bed, where I spend all my time. The shower and toilet are through that door, as well as there's my sink with a crazy filter on the faucet. And then door, my chemo, my infusion machine, standard TV, computer, And then there's 2 chairs here, both of which are actually quite good. It's unusual for hospital chairs to be good. So big pleasant surprise for Jamie there. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. This is what my world will look like for the next month. And one thing I keep asking the doctors, what can I do? Because I've been kind of scared, I guess, right? I mean, they say that this procedure and autogenic stem cell transplant, so donating to myself, has about a 5% death rate. And when I talk to the doctors, it seems that a lot of that comes from stuff that's just kind of not controllable, like massive infections from your gut, bacteria, gut bacteria seeping through your intestines, and there's just nothing you can do about that. They do. Okay, that's not true. They do everything they can to prevent it, and then if it happens, there's tons of things you can do about it. What I just mean is there's nothing I can do about it, right? Nothing I can do personally about it. So the one thing that they have said really correlates to success and faster recovery is to stay moving. So I've been trying to walk 1 mile twice a day around the unit, which is very small. So it's about 19 laps around the unit to get to 1 mile. And I'm going to try to continue doing that for as long as I can. And, I'm feeling less scared now that I'm here. But I mean, I'm already way past the point of no return. in the middle of this chemo is you can't back out once you start it. So we're here, we're doing it, and I know this is the best chance I have for a long-term cure. But it's serious. It's very serious, and it's just been a lot of thinking, I guess, a lot of mulling, a lot of praying, a lot of just concern. So yeah, it's kind of where I am now. Now that I'm in the midst of it, there's no more reason to be worried about it. You just move forward. So that's the current plan. Yeah. All right. I think that about wraps it up. I'm sure I'll be back in a few days or what have you, depending on whether or not I can still speak. So, till then.